Welcome to Discerning News, where we bring you current stories from a bigger picture perspective. The purpose is to inspire clarity and enthusiasm for your unique journey. Well, it's time to trust in your inner authority, leave your doubt behind. And on this episode, we are going to be giving some good insights about some news that's been going on this week and ways to maybe shift the ideology you might have going on within you. So it's going to be a powerful episode.
Yeah, this is going to be a good one.
Sounds good to me.
Tom's always sounds good.
Never quite sure what Teresa's going to say when she opens up the
It's
episode.
because you just never freaking know, do you?
Yeah. I think that's what we talked about, but let's find out more.
Well, I know the big story.
All will be revealed.
All will be revealed.
The secrets, the mystical secrets.
We was talking in the green room there about, I think just for me about that trust,
Yeah. Mhm.
how essential that is. I know for myself since our last recording, just how essential that is in order to do what I've come to do. And when I deal with people, because that's what I'm here for, not dealing with them, just working with people. How essential it is to just trust myself, trust my helpers, and not in like a big religious way or some dogmatic thing I'm supposed to or something like that. It's just like if I have water and I start pouring that water, I can trust that the water is going to start going down and hitting the floor. There's just some trust there because of gravity and what I'm connected to. And I can trust myself and what that means. What does it mean when I trust myself completely? Like how often does the doubt move in?
Yeah. So we all three get it, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just.
But in looking at out in the world and what's going on,
right.
and some of the stories we heard this week, especially around Kennedy.
That's
and the hearings. So that's where I want to go today because that was a whole, we'll say, shit show of what things were going on.
Well, Teresa, this is your area of expertise. You're very sensitive about health, truth in health. I have lived this with you. I know you have experience in this area.
Yeah.
And
like when they're giving out the shots and I'm like, wait a minute, something doesn't feel right here.
Yeah.
And Tom's like, what? Like, oh, something does not feel right.
So ideology.
Inside of me.
Ideology and inner authority. Probably where I want to open with this, in terms of inner authority, that I know that when I hear those words, my intellectual concept is something like around, I'm marching around with authority.
Right.
And I almost like kind of back off from that,
right.
And that's just me. So, but really all inner authority means to me, and one can say, well, like, how do you have inner authority when you're on the job, your boss tells you to do something a certain way, and, they pay you. So you've got to hit the KPIs or the metrics or whatever you call it. And how do you go about that? And what I've been realizing more and more is when I just tune into my inner authority, that my well-being and how I feel is the most important thing. So it's great to be in these challenging circumstances, you might say, like what you're talking about, Tiger, involved in life, because I start to notice when I get off from that inner authority of just relaxing, being in my feelings. And then that reminds me of the phrase that Tiger has often shared with us is that slow is smooth and smooth is fast. So, or smooth is slow and...
You had it.
Yeah, okay, slow is smooth.
Slow is smooth and smooth is fast.
And all I'm talking about is enough inner authority that I don't let something rattle my cage just because I'm being given direction or situations are happening. So I don't know, what do you guys feel about that?
We exist in a highly intellectual world, and often the feeling part where your inner wisdom lies gets left out. There's a way to feel more in balance with all parts of yourself. This way is by accessing a spiritual bigger picture of who you are as a soul. Check out the link in the show notes to access a free video series created by the Wayshowers College to support your journey and moving through this game of life. Your intellect and feeling parts will love it.
Well, let's take that into the into the Kennedy situation that's happened this week, and how all of that has obviously, when you watch the senators going nuts about what he was saying.
Some of them.
Yeah, I mean,
Some
so
of
so
them.
this
Yeah.
the story that you're talking about is there was a meeting with the Secretary of Health
Mhm.
in the U.S. and a bunch of
It was a
senators.
hearing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
Senate
so
hearing.
that's happened this week, and there's a lot of buzz around it. And if for those who've watched some of it, it was pretty.
Intense.
Yeah, compared to other ones,
Yeah.
it was
They've been bad
it was
before, but
nice
they
and
were
emotional. It got everybody interested.
Yeah.
They got everybody going, so everybody got their nice little clicks and little video clips, which is part of the deal.
Mhm.
But I suppose the bottom line is there's a lot of ticky tacky there on both sides, and where I end up falling on this is, where do I want the authority to sit? Right? Do I want the authority to sit inside me and with me, for me? Or do I want it to sit someplace else? Right? And that sounds ridiculous when we're saying it, right? We're in this comfortable zone. Well, of course, everyone would want that in their own space and in their own control, of course. But it's not quite as straightforward when someone's feeling insecure,
Mhm.
when I don't feel that I'm 100%, when I don't feel my finances are where they need to be, I don't feel my relationship is where it needs to be, I don't feel that I'm on my path. It's very easy to then want to put that authority out there so that someone takes care of me
Mhm.
because I'm feeling weak, I'm feeling vulnerable. So it takes a lot of time and, to a degree, discipline to, when I'm feeling weak, let's say if I'm sitting right now, nobody can touch me. I'm relaxed. I'm with my friends and we're having a great podcast. I'm with you. So it's easy to say these things. But when I get around situations that I'm not so relaxed or my buttons are being pushed,
Mhm.
that's where I can lose that sense of inner authority. I forget who I am and what I've come to do, even through my mistakes. So to me, when I was watching some of that and knowing that we were going to talk about trust and inner authority and ideology and using this story for that, it was perfect, because it all to me comes down to that place. Okay, I can work with people, I can work with this system, but is my fundamental going to be in me? Am I going to say I have the last word when it comes to me, whether it's about my health or vaccines or the government or whatever? Where is that going to be? And it has to be a line in the sand within me. Otherwise, not harsh, right? Not forcing other people to do stuff. I need to know what's important for me to move forward. Because if someone is still figuring it out and they do want someone to help them or kind of take care of them for a bit, that's okay. But they just need to be clear about that.
Mm.
And when those two worlds collide, someone wanting to be taken care of and someone who wants to take care of themselves, that becomes a confrontation.
You don't have anything to say about that? I guess
Next.
I do.
No, Tom. I understand. I'm very sensitive. You're next, darling.
Wow. Well, that was pretty clear and pretty simple. Yeah. The thoughts that I was having was that for each of us, it's going to be a little different. So as I move through, say, some business opportunities and, customers and clients have certain expectations, and there are certain service offerings or products that I'm, selling, you might say, or, well, of course, we're in business to do those things, that I can lose my inner authority and all I mean by that for me is just feeling relaxed, feeling smooth, not feeling under pressure, just, moving from one thing to another in the right place, the right time, enjoying my interactions with people, enjoy the opportunity to be of service, that kind of thing. But if I get caught in a competition,
All right.
where it can be as simple as I start comparing myself to someone else and how well they do, say somebody more experienced in the business opportunity that I'm in, or in the outcomes they've achieved, that puts pressure on me, and I start to turn off what my true feelings are. So I always get back to more and more, I keep, finding out that I need to know, what do I feel first? Not so much what I think. What do I feel about what's being gone, and what the other person, what do I feel there's the need there? And it's not from an emotional or ideological point of view. It's more from what is my sensitivity telling me? I mean, and I guess that's the whole key to really, for me to traverse or navigate through life, is I've got to be aware of what my true feelings are, and then have the inner authority to stay relaxed enough that I allow myself to
Yes.
feel those.
That's right.
Yeah. And so in this situation with Kennedy and the senators, and of course, everybody watching going, oh my gosh, on both sides, right?
Mm-hmm.
I guess the thing comes up for me is getting the facts.
Yeah, that's it. I was going to go with that. That's
I
exactly.
felt the F word now. And recognizing that. So there's definitely facts that Kennedy brings up, because he's walked this line with, parents that were vaccinated and had issues with different situations that came up. And of course, he's not anti-vax, but they keep putting on there that he is, the other side.
Yeah, they keep saying that when he's not really.
So, and they have all their people behind them too with, we don't want to lose this, the big money, the big pharma money,
The vested interests.
And so they're on both sides. There's all these things of reasons to doubt why this is right and this is not right.
Yes.
And so I recognize for myself that, like what you're saying, Tom, honestly, it's about a feeling. Like as soon as those things come into play and I'm watching that and I'm recognizing, okay, so where do I do this?
Yes.
In that mirror too, how everything's a mirror. So where do I not get my facts or get the feeling for what I'm involved in, that I might be misled, or I might doubt what I'm moving into or wanting to experience. And so, and recognizing that it's so important to get those facts, it's so important to know what I'm getting involved in. And, most people aren't in that place.
Yeah.
I think that's the big key for myself too, is most people, we're all in different places energetically. And so in recognizing that, those that, think that Kennedy's the devil and he's trying to get rid of all the vaccinations, well, they're in their place and they're playing that part of the game.
Mm-hmm.
So where do I fit within that? And that's where it's individual. But again, it comes to also to, how is it affecting the life that we're living?
There's a phrase that I've heard over the years that one of my mentors used to use, is getting the facts of my feelings. And I used to say, well, intellectually, that seems like, what, facts of my, that seems to be at odds if I think too much about it. But what that means to me now, the facts of my feelings, is what are my feelings? What, when, where, what, like of the feeling that I'm picking up. But if somebody pushes me or is trying to keep me under pressure or keep me in that fear mode, I cut off my flow of my feelings.
That's it.
And that's where spiritual growth, or some of the tools and techniques we offer to help people become more aware of what their true feelings are. It's not, because many people have their emotions confused with their true feelings.
That's right.
Well said.
Spiritual growth is not a race. It's a gradual progression. You do not have to spend 24 hours a day working on it in order to feel more inner peace, deeper connection to your soul purpose, and feeling more confident in your daily life. The journey is all about balancing your physical and spiritual worlds. These two worlds are supportive for embracing the foundations of the real you. By just investing minutes a day for your spiritual part as you would invest in your house or other areas of your life. To gather more direction, clarity, and a new layer of inner awareness, check out the ebook set created by the Wayshowers College. Link and discount code in show notes.
carrying on where you're going is, let's say I'm someone who thinks Kennedy is a quack.
Uh-huh.
Let's say I'm someone who thinks he knows what the hell he's talking about, right?
Okay. Two ends of the
The
spectrum.
two ends of the spectrum, right? All of this stimulus right now is doing something wonderful. It's uncovering, it's bringing stuff up, right? It's stimulating a bunch of things and starting to recognize where are the real underlying things. Well, what are the facts, right? What is the real things going on? I need to know that. And even though it can be uncomfortable, I need to know that. And I'm bringing this up from the perspective of the greatest thing I can hope to lose while I'm here is ignorance. That is the most wonderful thing to lose while I'm here, ignorance. Because I can become ignorant that they have my best interest in mind. Well, they do have an interest in mind. It just may not be my best interest, right? So I can operate under an illusion that some hero is going to take care of me, or I elect somebody and that elected person is going to be this perfect person to take care of all these issues. It comes back to that same thing. Oh, we want this superhero partner. We want this superhero prime minister or president or whatever, or senator. It's like, it's a fantasy. It's a fantasy of giving up who I really am and what I've come to do. It's abdicating my responsibility. And so the power of this, of uncovering things and let it come to the surface, is starting to pull away that ignorance from the common person. Right? Some people are always going to stick their heads in the sand. It's going to happen. I've done it myself, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there comes a certain point in my evolution, in my need to have that trust in myself, that need to have that inner authority. It's not a want. The more I work on myself, I don't know about you all, that becomes a need. I can't keep looking out there for answers. I have to start looking inside. So this is a beautiful thing. It doesn't matter which side you're on. It's a beautiful thing in the sense that things are being brought to the surface. Let's take a look at them.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not be afraid to take a look at them. And maybe this one's right and this one's wrong, or maybe that one's right and that one's wrong. Great. Let's get it out on there. Let's start really seeing it, because the confusion, the devil, the bad habits, the negative waves, man, they live in the world of ignorance. They live in the world of where I don't want to look at that.
Yeah.
Right. I don't want to bring the light to that. It always is in the shadows, always in the shadows. And all that lower state of consciousness, like bullies and people like that who want to push me around, or when I have those negative thoughts, I mean, I'd like to hear you on this, because you were talking about in the green room about how people can put pressure and things can move in. That's a bully energy. That's a bully energy. And what's so amazing to me is the moment I go, I'm not going to indulge in that thought. Wait a minute. I'm not going to be, I don't have to be like aggressive or something like that. There's times for that, but no, I'm not going to do that. All of a sudden, that big bully thought, that big bully thing, it just melts like ice cream on a hot pavement. It's just, so anyway, getting rid of that ignorance, letting things come to light. That is the beauty of what I'm getting here.
Yeah. So I'm going to tag on that about channeling and channeling confusion.
Yep.
Because, and also when things get so hot and it's bubbling up and it's coming to the surface. Tom always likes it because I always say weird words, and he's like, I love it when you said that weird word.
TM.
I know. But when things get so heightened like they were this week in those hearings, you can tell there's great change coming.
Yeah.
You can tell that. And so moving back to channeling confusion, which I saw a lot of them doing that because it's not them.
Yeah.
It's not their true essence. It's not who they are by channeling anger and, and fear monger and all kinds of crap coming through their mouth. So this week I was at work and I had an interaction with someone there, which I had an action. I just came up to her and I said something kind of strange. And then I left her with something and I walked away and I went away kind of feeling weird. And I was like, I just channeled confusion that was around this person for her to not feel strength in what she's doing. And it just hit me like a brick wall. And I was like, wow, that's what we all as people in energy and physical bodies experience every day. And so in recognizing that, it gave me a whole new layer of when I see things going on in the world, like the hearings, and when I see these senators coming at someone like really intensely, I recognize they're channeling confusion.
Let me just, I know you remember what you're going to say. I just want to, I want to make that point, not only for everyone listening and watching, but this is like so important. What you just said, Teresa, is that how often am I reacting to someone else's energy, someone else's magnetism, rather than my own energy, my own action? I would say that is a high percentage that's out there. And if you're attracted to these podcasts, you're probably sensitive to your environment. You're working on yourself personally. So when you do that, the sensitivity goes up. I become aware of things around me. My sensitivity, my aura spreads out, whatever you want to call that. And I start, it's kind of like that, going out and start touching something that has a little slightly electric charge, right? Like, I don't know if you've ever had that where like in a refrigerator that maybe it's not grounded just right. Like you get this little buzz from it, right? That's that energy of my sensitivity coming around someone else, but they have a momentum around them. And that's what I hear you say, Teresa. It's like that person must be strong because they have enough energy going around them or things stirring around them that it actually affects others. That energy basically wants to keep that lady in the same place. So it stimulates people all around to keep her in that same place.
And having that awareness, I recognized how many times have I done that
exactly
throughout my life, and how many, and many times.
Well, the phrase that comes to me, and the word really, is evolution, and the thought that, not knowing then learning is growing.
Right.
And that's something I can't escape, because one of the things that I've noticed is I become aware in some recently somewhat new opportunities for myself. Like as I get sort of more and more regrouped, and as my sensitivity is expanding, I go, oh my God, I'm comparing myself to somebody else right now. Or, oh my God, I'm feeling pressure like I just want to quit this because it's getting all too hard. Or, oh my God. And so my solution has been lately is just go, how do I really feel? Take a deep breath. And I mean, I do this almost instantaneously, but just relax. There's no reason for any pressure. I had a recent, something that happened today, actually. I dealt with a couple of fellows that all they spoke was Spanish, and I had to use a translate kind of app on my phone, and they were using one on their phone, a little different one. And it was interesting because we got through the business of the whole thing and, worked with both of them. And really, this was a first for me, that I had to be patient enough and move slowly enough that I worked with the app and we got the what we needed to do, we got accomplished, and it was great. So, I noticed how like, maybe I should get somebody else to do this, or, when really I just needed to relax and take it a step at a time. And in fact, it became fun after a while. It was like, we're going to use this thing. I don't know what they just said. In fact, I don't think they can read very well, in their own language, much less, So, Yeah, it was, and we got a couple things rechecked with somebody who could speak Spanish. One little thing that I wanted to make sure they knew. And anyway, so that's evolution is the solution and becoming aware. But ideology, to me, what ideology means, how I'll define that right now for the purposes of this conversation is when I have a set of facts or a system that I believe in, which gets me through life.
Mm-hmm.
And it's worked so far, but every once in a while I come to this point where I go, this doesn't feel right. Something's wrong here. And then I can open my mind or my awareness with like the true facts. But the thing that will keep me from looking at that is if there is some fear there.
Yeah.
So I'm very wary myself when people want to stimulate fear in me, because that's the way they control me. And
that seemed like
all I have
what
to
they were
say
doing a
about
lot on
that.
these hearings. And yeah, for myself, I recognize that my ideology also can change.
That's where I was going to go. Go.
Yes. As I expand my awareness, as I open up spiritually and am at a different place than I was, yesterday, last year, 5 years ago, that my ideology can change. But I think it's that awareness of where I'm at. Like the other day at the office when I had this interaction, and years ago, I would not have come back and go, oh my God, I recognize that I picked up on that. But now I do. And so things change as we go through our journeys, especially opening up energetically and recognizing how sensitive we all are as souls.
I was going to say very similar is that my whole life is about evolution. It's about growth and opportunity to grow. And my ideology needs to reflect that. If I'm stuck in one way of thinking, I am not going to grow, right? I might learn a lot, right? And learn and learn and relearn and learn again, but I won't be growing. So I think the golden guideline is I need to understand that my ideology needs to evolve. It needs to move. And one little tip that someone shared with me is I know I'm on the right track when whatever my ideology is working with, whatever I've tapped into, like I'm going to grab onto this ideology, is it expanding and allowing me to work with more people, or is it contracting to become more closed group, or is it just towing and holding the line? And I need to be aware of that. Otherwise, I'm going to start thinking my way is the only way, or my way is the best way, right? And play games with that, whatever the glory trip is, right? Or whatever the competition or devotion trip is. I'm going to get stuck forgetting that I'm actually here to go through evolution, not to be fixed into one way of thinking. So that was a key thing for me is if I'm not evolving, then I'm going to be stuck doing the same thing. You've heard of reincarnation for some of you out there? Then
it's there.
The best way to understand reincarnation is I am dragging yesterday into today. In other words, because I keep thinking about the same thing, this lady that you were talking about, her ideology is so strong that it caused someone who's sensitive to get pulled into it. That's the power of ideology. Now think about that from the other way around. Imagine someone whose ideas and inspirations are so broadening that it brings out the best of the people around them. So is my ideas about myself and about the world expanding and allowing me to move and giving me more room, people more room? Or is it contracting and keeping me into a tight little space and creating enemies? That is the litmus test. It's a test to see where I'm at.
So it's interesting because as you're talking about ideology, I think
Yeah.
about Kennedy and the senators, right? So, because Kennedy has said, I'm not anti-vax many, 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 many times, right? But the ideology that the senators and other people have, they can't hear that. All they hear is,
Mm.
and not only that, but it's also obviously the big pharma and all that.
Well,
the back
Everyone
part.
has their
Yeah, their thing that's
catering
going on,
to.
right? And who's really driving the force of all that? But in regards to ideology, as the sense that there's no one, they can't hear any of that. I mean, I even talk to people that are like, Kennedy is not good. they
Sure.
don't think, because they have their own ideology. So that's all I want to say.
Well, and they never, the thing that I notice is that people don't even bother to go listen to an interview that he does or allow him to explain how he's arrived at that conclusion.
Yeah.
I think, the big sign is that you see people, they're not dealing with each other with respect. They start the name calling and the one-upmanship.
Mm-hmm.
And
Competing.
I guess, pardon me?
Competing.
Yeah, competing. And so I was going to share a little bit more about competition for me was that I used to think, gosh, why are people always competing with me in different opportunities that I'd have, and usually in a business situation. And I noticed later as I started to evolve and become more self-aware, like, oh, I'm kind of competing too. I always kind of wanted to be the best and outshine people. And in little situations, aside from, being in track and field and, you're supposed to win the race or win a hockey game or something. And that's all fun competition. But just in dealing with people, I can find that if I get out of balance with that, the competition's positive if I keep refining my service. It's a way to say, wow, this guy has plenty of business, so he must provide a good service, or something that I want to partake in. But it gets out of balance when it's involved in that one-upmanship, and then it puts pressure on people, and now I'm going to cut off the flow of my feelings. So all this is wonderful because we're having a chance to evolve through these situations. But I guess the summary comment that I want to make is if I don't sort of work on one step at a time, spiritual growth is like by the inch, it's a cinch. Yeah. I get to another place where I start to realize, oh gosh, I felt that little feeling of competition move in or comparing myself or living in the past or something that will come up as a subtle little emotional feeling. And it's not until I peel another layer that I start to even recognize that I do it. So it's a step-by-step process. I'll never anymore. I'm not going to beat myself up for what I didn't do in the past or wasn't aware of. In fact, that's a trap. That's a competitive trap. So ideology, we need it because I need to be organized. I have my feelings and I have my intellect. And so I need a basis, a framework, you might say, of beliefs or a framework of understanding to the limit that I have so I can survive. I keep the body here on, planet Earth, right? But there comes a time when I can replace certain parts. And then I guess the other thing is the best leaders are those who help me lead myself, help me evolve myself and empower myself. Where the fear comes in with leaders who want to control,
that's it,
is they feel like they're going to lose something from their advantage of being more aware or better manipulators or something. But if I help others go around me, the cool thing is I actually move up, in my opportunities, and I can have new experiences and work at a higher level is the feeling that I have about it.
Yeah. And for me, summarizing, the aspect of inner authority, the aspect of, leaving doubts behind that I might have about situations is really trusting in what am I feeling? And also recognizing that, the other people, the senators that were angry, whatever, they're just where they're at. This is just a game. So in recognizing that whenever I'm at work or at play or wherever I'm at and I'm having confrontations or I'm seeing someone that's maybe stimulated or heightened up energetically or emotionally is, they're just where they're at. And so if I can stay relaxed and calm within myself, I can work with anybody. And I think that's the thing with when I was watching that. And it's funny because about, several years ago, I would have been very stimulated by seeing them come at him
The
like that.
unfairness of it.
Oh,
Yeah.
and the fairness of it, and what they're not listening, what la la. But today I'm like, yeah, it's just a game. I mean, it shows me my evolution, and I guess that's just my summary of it. It's just recognizing, where are you, and the listener in your place of your evolution, and is it in a expanded or is it in a contracted space, and whatever it is, it's okay because you'll move through it. And just like I move through it and everyone else is going to move through it, we're all going to make it. That's my summary. What about you, Tiger, summarizing?
Summarizing, I was actually going to key off what you were saying about it's a game, and remembering that it doesn't matter whether I love that senator or hate him, like the Kennedy guy or hate him. It's recognizing that it's a game on planet Earth, and they're playing their role and playing their part, and they do it because they get attention and they get votes and it works, right? If it didn't work, they wouldn't do it. Yeah. So that's the reality of the situation. So, if you ever want to see a politician change overnight, have the mass populace start to go in one direction. All of a sudden, it didn't matter anything, whether they were completely opposed, right? All of a sudden, everybody's, I used to talk about that.
Yeah. I've seen it in my lifetime. I've seen events happen, and all of a sudden, the media and the politicians start as if they'd never said the opposite before. Now they're fully on board.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So life is a game. It's a game that I'm stuck with, whether I like it or not, if I want to be here. So why not enjoy it, right? Why not just recognize it? And I think it's one of the Greek philosophers, Aristotle, he says, it's a mark of an educated mind to entertain a thought without accepting it. And to me, what that means is I need to be open to see these things for what it is. And then I can evaluate it. I can discerning news.
Hey, that's our name.
How about that? I can discern where it fits. And it actually leads me, because if there's something that starts to trigger me or something that starts to head me down a certain path, that's actually important for me. I need to, because why am I not calm, cool, and collected? It's just what people are saying. In the end of the day, I have my own choice and my own decisions. That's the facts. I can do anything on this planet as long as I'm willing to pay the price. That's the facts. So coming back home in the full circle of things here for the recording and the message here is just, I need to recognize that it's a game. Life is a game. I'm here to play that game and get the best out of it, and to pass on what I have to others. And then just to respect that I'm in a growth process, not to get caught up in any one thing, and let myself evolve. Let myself have the inner authority and trust in myself that I can change when I need to change, and that I can be firm when I need to be firm. Right? It's not based on something out there that tells me that's right and wrong. It's me being able to gently move forward spiritually. The things that I take with me. I can't take those senators with me. I can't take Kennedy with me. I can't take all the stuff they were talking about with me. I can't take any of that with me. The only thing I can take with me is what I pull together for myself. That's it. So if that becomes my primary focus, that becomes my pure intention, then I can work with any senator. Then I can work with any congressperson. I can work with any prime minister or the pauper. I can work with anybody.
Good on you.
Thank you.
Whether you are a brand new or returning fan of this podcast, we appreciate you. We appreciate you listening to the episodes that we create every single week. If you would love to support us by continually creating great content every week, please consider liking, subscribing, and supporting us monthly. You can find the buttons below to do all the above. Cheers to you and moving into our 6th year of sharing through podcasting.
I try.
Well, now that we're done, we'll go make those steaks, but we hope that we gave you a little bit of fat to chew on today in regards to your inner authority and also leaving doubt behind and really trusting in your inner feelings, because you've got it all inside what you need, and all you need to do is just discern a bit, right?
Yeah, it's all about discernment.
And until next time, we'll see you guys soon. To keep the enthusiasm going, please like, subscribe, or comment below. We would love to hear from you.